I
All
think
right,
I,
well, we will go ahead and get started here, folks. I'm super excited about today's webinar. I'm excited about a lot of our webinars that we do, but it's not often product gets me going like this. Revol 1 is a new group for those of you that aren't familiar with them, formed with people from the top of the industry that were formerly with other carriers. I don't know, Brian, how you guys all got to know each other, but they've assembled a lot of excellent talent over at Revol 1 and excited to talk about the opportunities. We've got Brian joining us from Revol 1 this morning. How are you, Brian?
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for having us on. It's always good to have friends in the industry. That's how that happens.
And I will say, I know a few of the people over at Revol 1, and they're just good dudes. So excited for the partnership. We're going to let him do most of the talking today, but I'm going to start off by going through our value prop. Those of you who are already with us may have seen this in a previous webinar, but guys, I'm started 37 years ago, 38 years ago now, actually, just now, and it was built on a foundation of service. Charles Hiring, who some of you may have met, built IAMS on a foundation of service, like I said, to the point that now, in a day and age when so much of our industry is automated and you're leaving voicemails, sending emails as a primary methodology of communication, when you call into IAMS here now, you're always going to get a live person. Every single time you call in, you'll get connected with a live person. We don't even have voicemail. It's not because we haven't figured out how to use it. It's because we're old-fashioned in that way. So when we say service, we mean service. And we have annuity and life teams that are devoted to offering you the best service whenever you need it, and are experts with each of the carriers that we represent. And we do represent pretty much everybody in the industry. So that's great news for our producers. And I'll tell you, it's great news as an employee here at IAMS too, because it means that I can offer the best for my producers. So one of the other reasons people like to work with us is our new producer bonus. So if you are newly contracted with us during your first 6 months, there is an opportunity to hit these different thresholds of production. FIA business counts dollar for dollar. Life business usually counts about 10 to 1. But in your first 6 months contracted with us, we want to give those producers who show that they can close business as many shots at the dartboard, as many darts to throw at the dartboard as possible. So we invest in your practice in a big way. Like I just hit my 1-year anniversary with IAMS. I've got a lot of experience in the industry, but because of that, I've got a lot of new people in my book. And just in the past 6 months, I had quite a few people hit that $1 million level. And so for 3 of those people, I know we're doing seminars for them. We're just paying for 3 of them. That's keeping their sales funnel full in 2024. And one of them is doing like a VSL campaign that's focusing on replacement policies for people that are in poor annuity contracts looking for better contracts right now. Both of those have been really, really effective. And we want to do the same for you. We want to help you continue to keep your sales funnel full in 2024, and this is a great program for that. And I should mention, even after that first 6 months, we do continue to invest in your practice, just not quite at the clip that we do when you're first contracted with us. Another great tool, just like you guys, the best new client that we can get, you're our clients, are from a referral. If we do a good job working with you, we would love to meet somebody that maybe that could benefit from our services as well. So if you don't want to go the whole agency route and have all that responsibility of, maintaining agency, having the liability of chargebacks and things of that nature, when you refer somebody to us, we're going to give you $50 when they contract with us. Not a big deal, right? But it's something. But it is a big deal when they write business with us, because if they write a $100,000 annuity policy, we give you $200 every time. And we've got lots of people referred to us that are writing hundreds of millions of dollars. 20 basis points on $100 million is a big deal. So we write checks for thousands and thousands of dollars every month to the people that have referred other advisors to us. And that override continues indefinitely. As long as you're both contracted with us, you're going to get that. It's a great program there. Back office support. Brian, you may not be aware, but on the annuity and the life side, we've got people who work specifically with certain carriers to understand the inner workings of those carriers. And when business is submitted, we follow that business from submission to commission to help those advisors get that business passed through as quick and as painlessly as possible. So we've got somebody specifically assigned to your group over there at Revol One with our larger annuity carriers like Athene, North American, for example. There are a couple others. We've got 2 or 3 people assigned to those carriers that really understand how to work there, and we're going to get you guys to that point, Brian. But
appreciate that.
But my point is, I've been around. I've worked at the largest IMO in the country. I've worked at another IMO when I first got started. I've seen what other groups have to offer as well. We are at the tip of the spear when it comes to back office support. We do it as well as anybody. And I think our annuity team, Mackenzie and her team do a very good job of being proactive about ensuring that if there are any obstacles, we try everything we can to head those off. But when there are things that come up, like additional requirements on policies getting ready to be issued, we work proactively with the carrier to take that off your plate and keep you guys in front of clients doing what you do best, which hopefully is selling more product and helping more people out. We've got Mackenzie and her team on the annuity side, Michelle and her team on the life side. We're very, very good there. There's somebody on the call. I just took through a website walkthrough yesterday. We spent about 45 minutes on the phone talking about the resources that are available on IAMS, Inc.com. If you go to IAMS.com, you're going to get dog food. But if you go to IAMSinc.com, you get much better than dog food. And some great services on there, including our annuity rate watch tool, industry updates. Our sales resource library is fantastic. All kinds of stuff there that you might be able to utilize on your website, just customize. We can have our creative team throw your logo, your information on it, resources that you can use to attract new clients and drip on the ones you've already got. But also access to our e-submittal tools like Firelight and IGO e-pipeline. Those are important resources as well. If you haven't had a walkthrough, get with me, Matt Sabala. I'm just realizing this is the first time I've said my name today. I should have done that a lot sooner. But get with Matt Sabala or your annuity or life salesperson, and we'll make sure that you fully understand the resources available to you on our website. Like I said, e-submittal. If you are not using e-app solutions like Firelight and iPipeline, you're really wasting time, to be quite honest with you. These are easy to learn, easy to use. It makes it more efficient for us to help get that business submitted. It's just a click away on our website, and it makes it much easier for groups like Revol One to process the business. Some groups will take part of your commission if you don't submit electronically. Others incentivize you by paying you a spiff to use e-submittal tools. But I promise you, even if you've only used paper apps ever, after doing it once, you will never go back to using paper apps. It makes it easier for your clients to sign as well. Let us know if you need help with this. We'll partner you with somebody here at IAMS to ensure that you're comfortable in that process. And like I said, do it through our website, because if you do, we see the business before it goes to the carrier, and we can try and check it for completeness. And it allows us to follow that business more easily rather than waiting on a call from Brian's team saying, hey, Bob submitted a case, and we're like, oh, I didn't know that. Well, it's because they didn't go through our website, and we could have made it go, in most cases, more seamlessly for you if we had seen it first. So I think we do 3 things really well. The first was just back office support and service in general. The second is definitely our creative marketing solutions. So we are really good at meeting producers where they're at. We do everything from business cards and stationery to pamphlets, websites. We'll put you on the radio. We'll get you on Fox News, whatever you want, and everything in between. We have a large, very effective team of creative marketers who help us with that process. So let us sit down with you, identify, most importantly, what your goals are. What are the production points you want to hit? What are the operational goals you have for 2024 and going into 2025. And then we'll back into a customized marketing solution for you based on the needs you have for your business that you can bite off one piece at a time and get you to where you want to be, help you meet those goals and exceed them. So if you haven't had that customized marketing analysis done with your annuity or life salesperson, let us know. We will sit down with you and do that free of charge. Our creative marketing is not a profit center for us. It is a means to help you write more business, and that's all we're looking to do there is help you be more effective in your practice. One last thing I'll mention here, digital solutions. Guys, if you don't have a good website and you don't have an online presence and you're doing even just face-to-face meetings, that's something that a lot of times, if you're not getting from a first appointment to a second, that might be why. Make sure that you have that credibility piece. We can help you do that. Back in 2016, 2018, there were a lot of changes that were coming down through the pike with the DOL. People were concerned they would have to have their securities license to even sell insurance products. So back then, we tried to be proactive about that. We created IAMS Wealth Management as a resource to a fiduciary for any of our agents that needed that, so their clients could work with somebody that was staying in compliance, and also as a resource to agents that wanted to get their license. We still do that. We've got a bunch of advisors over at IAMS Wealth Management that do manage money, and those who do typically close about 3 times as much annuity and life business as well, because you're working with higher net worth clients. You have more credibility. It's just as much easier to do business when you have that securities license. But if you don't, make sure you have a resource to somebody who does. And our IAMS Wealth Management team is that resource. We will join you on a call as a fiduciary to help keep that client close so they're not having to meet with another advisor who may have a securities license, to make sure that you're staying in compliance. And then again, if you want to get your 65, anybody that you flip over to IAMS Wealth Management to work with them on a money that they want to leave in a growth bucket in the meantime, we'll flip them back to you so you can earn commissions on it. Excellent team over there. We're very, very active with the changes that are going on right now with the Department of Labor. We are, if not the most involved IMO in that legislation, then we are right at the top with 1 or 2 other groups. We're trying to get that thrown out. It's not likely to happen, but just so you guys are aware, we are on top of it. We've already put together a webinar that discusses the changes and key talking points, and we're developing a compliance kit to ensure that on September 23rd, when those changes go into effect, that you, in your partnership with IAMS, will be in compliance and will have nothing to worry about. We are staying on top of that. If you've got any questions, please let me know. Happy to have that conversation with you. I'm actually one of the people that's been working on that. Third thing I think we do really well, and I'm almost done here, Life and Annuity Academy, just our training in general, but this is the apex of it. There are at least a couple of people on our call that have been to one of these Life and Annuity Academies. We just finished one up last week in Des Moines, but high level, like master's level courses on life and annuities, best practices, sales concepts from the guys who are at the top of the industry. I mean, it's producers who are seeing the level of success that other producers want to get to, and all they're doing is sharing knowledge. Fantastic resource to our advisors, all inclusive. We pay to have you out. We pay for your hotel. Fantastic opportunity. If you'd like to participate in the Life Annuity Academy, we will have one coming up here probably in the end of July, or possibly early part of August. If you'd like to attend, please let us know here real quick. We're going to do a couple of polls where we're just going to spend about 20 seconds on each one, but please let me know, and we will ensure that you get the link to get qualified for one of these events. We'll just give it 5 more seconds here. There we go. Thank you for voting. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close this one down. All right. Finally, it wouldn't be a presentation if I didn't ask you to like and subscribe or follow us on social media. It may not be important to you, social media, I had a producer tell me that not too long ago. He used some colorful language, but he said he just didn't care about social media. Well, you may not, but some of your clients most certainly do. Some of your prospective clients most certainly do. It doesn't cost much to look the part, if anything at all, but make sure you have that in your practice. And if you don't, partner with us and we'll make sure that you look the part when somebody looks you up online, because people do these days. So with that, Brian, I'm super excited to not talk anymore. Let me switch it over to you here. Why in the world can I not find this? Give me just a second here. There it is. All right, take it away, sir. Tell us all about you guys and your fantastic product that you have.
Well, very good. Thank you, Matt. Let's see here. I'm working with 3 different screens here, and so I need to know which screen am I showing you.
Revolt against the ordinary.
Is it black or is it got the is it the
white
full?
And gold.
Yeah,
Welcome
white
to the
and gold.
Revolution Coalition. Yep.
There it is. Welcome to the Revolution Coalition. And you can see there that compliance says hello.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Very good. Matt, I appreciate you going through that presentation there in the front of this. I can say just from my perspective as a carrier, it's not just lip service. I know there's a lot of IMOs out there that'll promise the world to you, but I've seen IAMS do exactly what they say, and it's just so refreshing to be partnered with them. We're getting to know Steve and Chris very, very well. I know actually this group from a past life. I grew up in the fixed indexed world with another carrier, and it was a fantastic learning experience. Can't say anything bad about them, but here we are starting a brand new insurance company, as though the world needs another insurance company, right? But I think we're doing it the right way. We're doing it with um, the right partners. We're doing it with limited partners. We can't go out and, as they say, paper the world. And so IAMS has agreed to partner with us, and we're very lucky to have them. You see on our screen here our executives. So first I want to give you an idea of who we are, and then after that we'll get to the exciting stuff that, I mean, I talked to Matt and he says, this is like blowing my mind here. And I said, I know, I'm the same way. So him and I are very, very excited about this product. And I think that marrying the two together, all the activity that IAMS can give you and all the marketing that IAMS gives you and all the resources that they have, and then you insert this product, it's a very easy story to tell. It is not difficult at all. So here's our executives. Cindy Reed, she is our Chief Executive Officer. She spent many, many years at North American Midland, if you will, Salmon's Group. And then, of course, our executive chairman is Mark Zesbaugh. Mark has had an extensive career running, being an insurance executive. Life sales, Allianz maybe at a time might ring a bell also. So the point here is that you have insurance executives that have been in the business for a long period of time that are running this company. They know what they're doing. Now,
Hey, Brian.
Yes, Matt.
Real quick, you might just hit the presentation button. We're seeing not only what you're sharing, but your notes too.
Okay.
Not that it's a big deal, but just so you know.
Well, that's fine. They put those notes in there, and I wish that I could switch the screen.
You might need them. It's fine. I just want to let you know.
No, I'm glad that you said that. So let me just switch this around here. I'm going to get this down here. Of course, cheetah everything, right? And I pick which screen I want to share?
Yeah, it's a little different
here
than
we
maybe
go.
what you
Show screen. Hang on. This screen. This is the one I want you to see. I don't care about that other one. I
There you
think
go.
compliance puts that together for me, and that's like really boring, you guys. This one's much more exciting. Okay, we good?
We're good.
Cheetah in sunglasses. You guys will see this everywhere. Why did we do that? We want to be different. We want to stand out. Um, we think that we can be different than these other insurance companies that have been around for years and years and years. So the question is, who is Revol One Financial? We've actually been around since 1980 and we're domiciled in Michigan. The reason why we like this is because, or the reason why we set up this way, I should say, is because we're licensed in 49 states. So we already have a national platform that we can go out to and start selling in those states. Probably no mystery, but New York is not one of them. So sorry, people that are from New York on this phone call. Administrative offices in Urbandale, Iowa, which is essentially Des Moines, Iowa. The reason why you do that is because you have all the talent right here in Des Moines, Iowa. You have people like Cindy Reed, Patrick Cahill, myself, if you want to consider that talent. I don't know. Some people do, some don't. Tim Heltman, he's also with us as well. So what that does is gives a best-in-class management that we're ready to disrupt the norm and do things a little bit differently. We did just get our rating, and we think it's pretty good, especially for a brand new company. And considering the times, if you think about a lot of these other insurance companies, we think in fact, we're very, very proud of the fact that we are B++ rated. Okay, so we talk about your company your way, and I'm not going to cover all these, but we're very focused on distribution, and we've got a robust product engine. So what you're going to see from us is a lot of product very quickly, very fast. The reason that we are that way is because we're agile and nimble, because we don't have all the legacy products, and we don't have legacy programs within the company. So starting out that way, that allows us and our technology to be very fast, very effective, very easy to work with. Matt, we can get people contracted in. You guys are seeing it like in 20 minutes. Sometimes it takes a couple of days, but what I found out, I did some digging on that. Sometimes it is the counties that slow us down. So the county background check comes back a day or two later. So be patient with us on that, but it can take as quick as 20 minutes to get contracted with us. So we talk about your annuity your way. We've got one today that we're going to highlight. I can mention the MYGA. We have a 3, 5, and 7 year. Matt can help you walk through that. Heck, most of you can see it on Annuity Rate Watch. So I'll skip over that. That is kind of the basis or foundation or cornerstone of all the other products. And then on the right-hand side there, you have the Endurus fixed indexed annuity. We do have a fixed indexed annuity. It's nice and short. It's 6 years, and it has a really awesome feature on it called Best Entry Feature. It just kind of protects you and the client for getting in at the wrong time, right? So I don't know, the S&P's up, what, Matt, 5,200, something like that. It's 5,200 in that area. And just imagine if it dropped a little bit. We have a feature that allows you to reset where you start. So enough about those two. Let's get into the unique hybrid MYGA. This is a three.
Brian,
Sir. Yes.
I know you're going to talk about the MYGA, and that's what I'm excited about too, but I don't want to undersell your MYGA. Guys, they have a MYGA at 6%, and that's awesome. It's available in almost every state, so just keep that in mind.
Yep, and I think the 5 year is at 5.85. So
that's right.
7 year is 6.
Industry leaders there.
5.85. So we're right there at the top. We're going to be fair in commissions as well. So we never set out in this company to say, hey, we're going to be the top at everything. As soon as you do that, next week somebody beats you. So we're going to be fair. Okay. So let's talk about this MYGA, and this is the thing that Matt and I are both so excited about, being in this marketplace for so long. And let's back up. Quite a few years ago in 2008, I joined a carrier that told an awesome story, and mainly it was based on the riders and on the income. Everybody remembers that, right? income for life that you can't outlive. We will have that too someday. But what we coupled that with was this story of indexing, right? Do you believe in indexing? Do you think in X amount of years that the S&P will be higher than it was? Most people say yes. They say, but what if it's not, right? Matt, help me finish this story, or this sentence, I guess I should say. Zero is your,
We talked about this before the webinar. I'm supposed to say hero.
that's right. Zero is your hero, right? I mean, how many times have we heard that? But then give me some reality. Give me a reality check. Did the client, agent really like a zero?
Not in today's current rate environment. They want to do much better than that.
Okay. And so how did we solve that problem? For me, from the carrier standpoint, I would say to the agent, or I'd call Matt and I'd say, well, Matt, it's easy. Let's just allocate. Oh, okay. So you mean take 50% and put it in the fixed and then 50% back in the index. Well, yeah, that way they don't really see a zero. They get a fixed rate, right? And it was kind of like, that's a patch, right? And you're also diluting your index, right? So we've solved that problem. And now we're talking about 4% is the floor. 4 is the floor. That's the mantra now. Let me explain a little bit further. And these visuals will put it all together for you. What we've done is we've come up with the Accelera plus MYGA. And what that does for you is it is a MYGA that has a rider. And it's called a best interest rider. Okay. So that's the plus part of it. You can see on the screen there, 25,000 for qualified, 50,000 for non-qualified. And as we go through the columns here, you see guaranteed period of 3, 5, or 7. So first you need to decide how long do you want this money to sit? 3, 5, or 7? Fine. Next step, or the next column, I guess I should say, that you'll see is the guaranteed fixed interest rate. Now you see that's 4 all the way. What does that mean? That means each and every year you will get 4% guaranteed compounding each and every year. So at this point, let's take an example of 5 years. All my examples in this presentation work off 5 years. So let's work on 5. So at the 5-year mark, or the 5-year guarantee period, you have 4% guaranteed fixed interest rate. Now, Matt, his first question was, yeah, but are you going to go in there and fiddle with that rate? You know, from like year to year, are you going to change it? And I said, no, that is guaranteed for that whole entire period of time. That whole entire 5 years, you get 4% compounding. No questions asked. Okay, cool. Now, the plus part of it is this rider. It's the best interest rider. You see there the third column, guaranteed participation rate. It's either 60, 75, or 90%. So over the top of it, we overlay this S&P and we make a mark to say on the first day, we started here, what was the S&P? Let's make a mark. And then 5 years later, we will have 75% of whatever the S&P did. Again, on that column, the participation rate, we do not move that participation rate. One thing I ask you is to kind of let go of this annual point-to-point idea that we've all been, at least that I grew up with, is, you know, annual point-to-point each and every year. Here's a visual. This will explain it the best. Once you all see this, it'll be like, boom, I can show this and sell this. We took the 5-year Accelera plus MYGA, 4% fixed rate, 75% participation rate. You started on 1/1 of 2019, $100,000. Anniversary 1, what should it be? 104,000. Anniversary 2, 108, 160, right? All the way to the end of the term, 1/1 of 2024. Your client is going to, got to turn my head sideways here, 121,665. How's that? Okay, pretty good. Now, some of you may be looking at that saying, but wait a minute, Matt can show me some better MYGA rates than 4. Well, yeah, that may be true. I have an example for that. So just hang in here with me and you'll see the opportunity that you can gain with this. Now, I do want to say something very briefly, and we're going to touch on it again. This is not allocation. 100% of your money is going into both of those columns, if you will. It's both in the fixed rate and it's both in the participation rate. You do not have to allocate, and you do not have to have a trigger or something happen to get a bonus. Both of these things are happening simultaneously. Tortoise in the hare, right? That's the old example there. So here we started 1/1/2019. It looks like Matt gets 2,507 as his mark on the S&P. Fast forward to the end of the term, you're at 4,771. The end result is this or that. Which one is greater? Folks, this is pretty easy. Don't complicate this one, right? After 5 years, you had a 10.89% annualized return, 167,704, and your worst case scenario was 121,665 with the 4%. I mean, this is a great story, and I'll tell you, you're separating yourself from the person down the street because you know they're shopping you. You know they're talking to other agents. And Matt has brought you something that you can totally distance yourself from everybody else in the pack. This is pretty darn cool. Now, some of you, so we're good on this picture here, Matt. Can I let that marinate for just a second? We can move on.
Go right ahead.
Thank you, sir. And how are we doing on time? Am I a little over? Because I'm about finished.
Oh, no, we're good. We're going to have time for questions.
Okay, we got time for questions. So give me maybe 5 more minutes and we'll finish up. So here's another visual for the naysayer out there that says, you know what, I can just use a MYGA and I'd be better off. Matt, would you agree that a 6% rate right now on a MYGA is pretty reasonable, pretty high, pretty good?
It's about as good as it's gotten in the last 20 years from my recollection. Yeah.
So that would be a pretty high MYGA rate, and you can find that, right? I mean, heck, we have it on our 7-year. We don't have it on our 5.
Right.
What this example is going to show you is 5-year periods. Please do not think of this as an annual point to point, because I see down at the bottom, the years are annual point to point. Each dot represents the end of a 5-year period. And this is where Matt and I got excited about this. As we looked at this data, we just went, wow, this is awesome. So if you were in a 5.50 MYGA rate, the total interest credited on one of those dots would have been 30,696. And I think that makes sense. So in other words, you started with 100,000. At the end of 5 years, you saw in your account 30,696. Not hard, right? Okay. Matt, you just told me that a 6% MYGA is pretty good right now. Okay. My comfort level is a 6% MYGA. Let's do that instead. Well, that's fine. You get 33,822. You've put the client in a great position. That's just fine. But I think with the MYGA, these dots here represent what you would have received at the end of a 5-year period. Remember, we're having a race between 4% and 75% participation rate of the S&P. Now, for reference, the 4% is the one little dot. I don't know if you guys can see my pointer, but it's that one little lonely dot right there at the bottom. That would have been your worst case scenario, where after 5 years, you would have received that 4% guarantee year after year. It's also interesting to note that that's about March of 2020. Does anybody remember what was going on March of 2020? COVID, right? So there's your COVID end of 5-year period. Keeping in mind that each one of these dots is the end of a 5-year period. So There's 108 times up above the 6% line that you would have received the 75% participation rate, and you would have received anywhere from 40,000 to 90,000 more than what you would have gotten in a MYGA rate or the 4% floor. I think that this is a really, really useful tool to have money in both the 4% and the S&P 500, no allocation needed. Interestingly enough, I've heard agents say this before about the fixed indexed annuities. I've actually said it myself. Typically, your client is going to ask, if you're in a fixed indexed annuity, hey, what can I expect from this? You say, well, what do you mean? Well, what kind of returns will the FIA or the fixed indexed annuity give me? Typically, I've heard the standard answer, oh, it's about 4 to 6. 4 to 6% is what you can expect. Now, I don't know if that's a good realistic expectation, but if you do continue to say that, I really think we've got the 4% taken care of with this 4 as your floor type idea. Now, Matt, if you don't want me to go there, my next slides are maybe some competition that people have heard of. I don't have to go there if you don't want to, but there you are missing some upside potential.
It's okay. Never mind. Yep, that go right ahead. I'm sorry, somebody came into my office. I had to answer them, but yes, please go right ahead. More information is better.
Okay. Not here to beat anybody up. However, and I'm just going to unveil everything all at once. Everybody on this call has already seen this picture. You can have a 5.5% MYGA. That is represented by the blue dotted line. Okay, you would have gotten 30,696. There's 2 competitors out there that I guess we're calling them hybrid type products. This MYGA would fit that. And they have some things where you have to allocate, or maybe there's some triggers that are happening. The point of this is that that return is still limited compared to getting 75% of the S&P. Okay, I'm going to show that and get off of that quickly. That's something that Matt can walk you through. So you would want to chat with him about that. But there is some limitations with those other ones where we feel that we have higher possibility. We're not going to stop just there with the MYGA. We are going to come out with some Generation 2 products. We'll have a 10-year accumulation bonus product. We're going to have a 10-year bonus product, and then another one with a guaranteed income rider. And those will all be fixed indexed annuities. So if people on the call are those types, I think those types of writers, we will have that soon enough. But I really think this MYGA has got some traction, and it's a story that no one else is telling. So we know what you are looking for when working with an insurance company. We can and will meet your expectations. You guys, we're pretty fast, quick, agile, nimble right now. These are our 2 other executives that I did not introduce you to. That's Candace at the top. She's the head of strategic finesse. And then we have Will, the director of Revolution Spirit. So we call them Can and Will. And this is our mantra at Revol One, is Can and Will. Our website is up and running. You can click there on the products, go out to our website, Revol One Financial, click on the products. You do not need a password. Just go there and check out the products. Specifically, the MYGA is what we talked about today. And Matt is very up to speed on it, so it'd be better just to call him and talk through it with him. And my call to action really is just to get contracted and get going, get that product training done. So again, compliance says hello. And Matt, I think I'm at the end there. So I don't know if you want to fire some questions or tee some up, or where we want to go from here.
Awesome, Brian. Well, I really appreciate it. Guys, I mean, to me, it seems pretty self-explanatory, but Revol One is a group of innovators, a group of differentiators. I have people ask me on a weekly basis, what's the best par rate you've got on the S&P? And they're blowing that out of the water, and they're providing that downside guarantee. And really, that 4% in my mind is marketing, because how often does that actually happen? I think that's just there for the client looking for an absolute guarantee. It's like a feature that you're hardly ever going to use. But that 5-year product is strong, very, very strong. The 7-year product, Brian, 90% par on the S&P is just insane, with principal protection and a guarantee of at least 4%. So really great stuff. Thank you for going through that. So a couple of questions. And we're not going to be able to get to all of these, but let me run through a couple of them. Dixon is asking about assets backing you guys up. Approximately, how much do you guys have backing you up? Can you talk about that a little bit, just who you guys are backed by? Because I know that does come up in conversation.
Sure. So we do have a I call it a one pager. It actually ends up to be 2 or 3 pages. Hey, by the way, how's my screen looking here? Do I need to pause or get
You're
off
good.
of that?
You're good. I got a cheetah.
Okay,
Everybody
is
likes
it blank?
cheetahs.
Okay, so there's nothing really on there. That's just my
Right, that's fine.
background. Okay, cool. So we do have a one pager on that. Matt would be able to share that with you. I think I emailed that over to IAMS. It gives more
I've got it.
detail than you want me to go into on this call. But Axar Capital is one that got us going. We looked to Pavonia, which is the insurance company out of Michigan. Remember, that's the one that has been around since 1980. And they have a back book of business, but really it's not annuities. Life insurance, COLA, structured settlements, these types of things. Okay, so once you see that financial worksheet, you'll kind of uncover more. But B++ rated, so we're excited about that from AM Best. They got in there, they looked at the books, they talked to us, they feel very comfortable with us.
Excellent. Lewis, I'll answer your question. Yes, there's a presentation for training on this. In fact, that's what the product training is. So I can get that over to you. I have a quick question for you guys before we finish up here. We got just a couple more questions, but just one more for everybody. One quick poll while we're talking. Do you want contracting with Revol One? I think if you want to be a differentiator for your clients, you will. But this just lets me know to get you that contracting link to get you guys started with this group. But Lewis, I will get that over to you. Isaac, this is a good question, Isaac, and I think it's because of how Brian, I guess, worded it. But there's a rider for that 4%. There is no charge for that. There are no fees on this product. So you get those guarantees with no fee, but that rider does not have a charge for it. Correct,
Yeah.
Brian?
Thank you for clarifying that. The reason why I say it that way is because it is a MYGA product. And then what they did was say, well, let's put a rider on it. It's called Best in Interest. So I thought that was a neat name too, Best Interest. But maybe I'm getting a little too technical there, but that's for agents to understand. I don't think that the client really cares, but there are no fees. And I will kind of give you a preview, like even on Gen 2 products, we're interested in fees, nor are we interested in these synthetic indexes or bespoke indexes that no one really knows of and they don't know how they work. I think S&P is the gold standard, and we're going to stick with that. So long-winded answer, but no,
Okay.
there are no fees, no cost.
Brian, a good question from another one of our agents, and I'm comfortable answering this, but I'm curious how you guys handle it. When you are meeting with the client and you're talking about Revol One and the exciting opportunity there, and they ask about the company, I haven't heard of Revol One. How do you answer questions regarding, they're a newer company, can we trust them? Can you compare them to, a North American, an A+ rated carrier, something like that. How do you guys answer that, or um, how would you ask an agent to answer that question?
Yeah, that is a good question. You know, we can't be somebody we're not. That's for sure. And as a startup company, there has been, well, let's face it, there's been other startup companies out there, haven't there? And
Sure.
maybe things haven't gone their way. But I made a very big deal in the beginning there that you have insurance executives running the company. They understand the lay of the land. Um, we have the capital needed. And also, here's another thing that it kind of mixes in with the capital question as well. Um, we're not going to do billions and billions and billions of dollars this year. It eats into the reserves too much, and you have to be very, very careful as how you work your business. And so we're very mindful as how much capital we can do this year. IAMS is aware of it as well. And so if you work those numbers and you stay within your guardrails, everything should be just fine. Now, we are a new company, but it's really just in name because the back book and Pavonia has been around since 1980.
Do you mind if I compliment what you said?
Add to it, please, because
So
you probably have even
another
more
thing
better
to
than me.
consider is the regulation of these products, and you may already know this, is such that any dollar invested with a carrier already has to be in reserve by the carrier. So there is never the situation, unless you've got a criminal at the top, which has happened, once to my knowledge, where you've basically got people stealing from clients. And I know with the transparency Revol One has, that's not the case. But if you're operating within the guidelines of what regulators require insurance companies to work in, every dollar that's invested has to be in reserve with that carrier before it can be invested. So the worst thing that can happen with a carrier is that a client, not that they don't get delivered the policy that they've purchased, but that a carrier has to pull back on new business, on business that they would take on in future years. And we've seen that happen, like Security Benefit that happened to. They had such a competitive product about 10 years ago that they stopped taking on business a couple of years because they just couldn't price it. They had to go out and raise more capital. Sometimes you see companies get purchased, their book of business will get purchased, but any purchased policy with Revol One by the guidelines that the states have already has to be in reserve. So it's not a concern that their money is just going to disappear. To my understanding, that's an impossibility unless somebody's cooking the books, and then we're all in trouble with everybody. So
That's a nice compliment and well said. Thank you.
okay, let's see. Looking through other questions, we've got quite a few. Yes, Dimitri, we've got that information. I don't know if you guys have any videos, Brian, but do you guys have any marketing videos? I haven't seen
We
any.
we don't. We have consumer brochures. Mainly ours is just marketing pieces. We're a little bit away from videos. We've been at it here, and we're trying to add things as fast as we can. And being a startup, we just we just don't have the library that some of the big guys have, right? And so we're working on that. We'll get there.
Right. Understandable. Dixon, I'll send you over their financials. I've got access to those. You've asked a few questions about that. Other than that, man, Dimitri, we should have had you answer that question. That was well said. Very good questions, guys. If you have additional questions, please feel free to reach out to Brian or myself. We would be happy to answer those questions for you. Brian, you want to give out Revol One's phone number in case any producers would like to get a hold of you guys?
Sure thing. It's Brian Maschka. Last name, spell it however you want. It's a tough one. I need to buy a vowel. So Brian Maschka. I'm at 800-579-9875. And you guys, I appreciate this dialogue. Matt, I would do this every day of the week with you. It was fun. It was enjoying that I wasn't just talking at people, and we had some dialogue. That's great. I appreciate it very much.
I love what I do, man.
Well, you're
And
good
it
at it.
sounds like you guys do too. So
We're very
appreciate it,
passionate.
everybody. We will get that contracting information over. By the way, Brian, we had almost everybody respond to that poll, and 100% of people said they're excited about you guys and would like to be contracted. So,
Oh my gosh, you guys, that is so awesome. Thank you so much for your interest. Let's do this together. Let's grow. We're excited. Bring it on.
all right, man. Thanks for your time. We'll do it again soon, and we'll see you guys on the next webinar. Have a great holiday weekend, and thank you for those that have served in our military. We really appreciate that. Take care, guys.